I haven't been able to incorporate it in a while, but I believe I found a way to actually keep it in captivity. Maybe even to get these beautiful purple flowers. It's one of the earliest signs of spring because periwinkle usually blooms whenever it's starting to get warm out, but it's still cold. So it's just a really awesome naturalized plant, which means it doesn't choke things out where it grows. A lot of plants that are invasive or are not from an area that are talked about are usually talked about in a negative light. But plants like periwinkle are found all over the state and they're not a bad thing. So just really cool checking this out, and you might have an opportunity to see this appear in my tanks in the future. Look at that, we got a nice deer. Yeah, I got you. That's right. You better pay your taxes. This is proof that if you don't pay your taxes, I got you. You're taking advantage of our land. Yeah, you don't want to take it serious. All right, we'll see. Look what happened to Bambi. Hey, look how cool that is. He's untouchable. Buddy, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Look how cool they are. Rare sight to be seen. Really cool looking. Getting a drink of water there.
Gosh.
You're a cute little fella.
Where's the other one?
I don't know, but you can hear her moving. Yeah, look at that. Little porcupine.
He's like a weird little looking sloth.
Oh, buddy. I've never seen a porcupine in bushes.
I didn't know they could climb.
I didn't either.
In the bushes?
He's in the bush.
Oh, yeah. So they're vegetarians?
Yeah.
Dude, if you stand where I'm standing, you can see his head, his eyes. You want to film that? Calm it down, Hannah.
Hey, buddy. I'm sorry. Hold on, I'll dim it a little bit. There, I can still see you. Wow, you're pretty skilled.
Watch him run super fast and then throw his off.
He's screaming at us.
Well, just walks away like he doesn't really care. That was the coolest thing I've seen. There goes another porcupine. It's probably going to show up even better on camera. That's what I've noticed. Ever gotten the Abandoned Turnpike? I've never gotten it this clear before.
Click on it.
Again.
That's a new one. asleep. He's like, I'm done for the night. I'm not afraid of these.
As long as they don't move.
That's whenever they get close. It's really cool to get this on film because you really don't get a chance to see them when it's nighttime and they're flying around. Here we have the spring peeper. This is the first time ever I've documented this at the Abandoned Turnpike. Beautiful frog. Truly a beautiful and abundant species to Pennsylvania. These guys are the voice of the spring, hence the name spring peeper. Now, you'll see them all throughout Frog Week because their range for breeding season goes the whole way from March, even parts in February, up until about June. So this frog is constantly out. They're super abundant. I was trying to draw them out, so I was playing some mating calls on my phone, and then it just hit me. I just happened to find one right here, perfectly perched. I mean, I was in here searching around for a good couple minutes. Right in focus. Beautiful spring peeper. Unbelievable. So hard to find in this area. There's an abundant population, probably about 50 in here. Every time you get close, they get quiet. So I had to go back to the drawing board. I had a couple of times to try and prepare for this, but even though it's an abundant species, it's the first find here. Just really excited. Yeah, these guys are so small, but yet they make some of the loudest noises of the frog world, at least in the United States. Super small frog, but they have such a loud voice. If I were to opt for anything to be the state amphibian, I think it'd be the spring peeper. And I'm not going to make a case. They just made the hellbender the state amphibian last year, but everybody's heard of spring peeper in the state, no matter where you are, no matter what color you are, what class you're from. I don't care if you're you know, if you're middle class, high class, if you're in poverty, even the homeless people have heard spring peepers. So I don't know, I think that giving something a voice and allowing people to really hear it would make them appreciate it more than something that just happens to be a big salamander. But I mean, I understand they're endangered, they're struggling. Spring peepers aren't, but just a really cool spring peeper. And these guys, let me tell everybody that's here with me, these are chorus frogs. Spring peepers, a lot of times people think they're tree frogs because they climb. Just because it's a climbing species doesn't mean that it's considered a tree frog. Chorus frogs are smaller than the majority of the native species of tree frogs. So if you see something about the size of your thumbnail, odds are generally it's a chorus frog. What does that mean? These frogs spend most of their life actually on the ground. They're not up in trees like people think. They're lower bushes, and they're calling from lower grass that's really dense and bushy before it really grows up high and you know, it just gets really tall. But regardless, chorus frogs do share arboreal tendencies with like the gray tree frog, which is the only species native to the state of Pennsylvania, the gray and the Cope's gray. But as you can see, much different body plan, very small, very stout, but got a very significant voice. Chorus frogs are endangered in the state, all but the spring peeper. The spring peeper is the only species that's actually native and doing well. It's kind of a shame, but they have shorter lifespans. We don't know if that's because of their the size of the frog, or if that's just maybe they have high stress loads because they're so small, more things can eat them. But the spring peeper is it's an important species. It's an indicator species because they're doing so well. They're so abundant in places where there's pollution, where there's deforestation. They just find a way to survive. So if you don't have spring peepers, you know that there's something that's wrong, something's going on. Even in a place like this, it's an abandoned turnpike, very little water that sits, but yet these guys find a way. And I'm sure that some of these guys were born in these puddles. So it's just truly unbelievable before the water would dry up that these guys could hop out of the water and survive life. But we're gonna put this guy back and probably gonna call it just about a night, but we're gonna see how this goes. One of the neat things about spring peepers, maybe people don't know, potentially, I don't know, I'd have to go back and look at the literature, but maybe spring peepers and chorus frogs in general are slightly aggressive and territorial because they're very spread out whenever they're calling. I don't know if that's the case just here or at other areas where we've been at for Frog Week shooting, but it's truly interesting to know one of the smallest, most abundant frogs has to have its distance. He just gave himself away because he's calling and I could see him moving in the grass. How about that? I'm about to circle back after this last one I see. This must be the dominant spring peeper in this area. He's turning to face the others in competition.